Welcome to Authentic with Brazil 201. I'm your host, Brazil 201, and this is a pre record episode. So, this will go up when this show actually comes out. This is an episode all about uh, the Madison. Okay, because this is getting confused because Marshall Y, which is the Yellowstone spinoff, also comes out the same day. And the fact that both Taylor Sheridan shows are coming out the same day. And by the way, I just wanna say The Madison, which was conceived as a Yellowstone spinoff, is not a Yellowstone spinoff at all. There is no connection outside the fact that the show takes place in Montana. It is not a Yellowstone. It's not a part of the Yellowstone universe, though I have a feeling it is somehow a part of the Landman universe, which is its own fucking brings up its own situation. But boy, there is a lot of Landman DNA in this show, and I loved it, okay? I've given the first 2 episodes very early, and I gotta say, their decision to do we're gonna go full spoilers because there's no way to talk about the show without going into full spoilers, is interesting. So, similar to Landman, we have our leading man of a character who's in his 70s. Well, I mean, an actor who is in his 70s, but the character is supposed to be in his 60s, I guess, played by Kurt Russell. And then we have his beautiful wife, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. It's gonna take a while to get to his name. So, let's go. Kurt Russell plays a character named Preston. Michelle Pfeiffer plays a character named Stacy. The Michelle Randolph Ainsley type character is played by Elle Chapman. Her name is Paige. The husband of the character is played by the guy who plays Mike Ross in Suits, and I'm just gonna call him Mike Ross in the show because he acts exactly like Mike Ross, so it's just easier to go this way. There's another daughter that is younger named Bridget, and then there is a sister to Michelle Pfeiffer whose name is Abigail, which okay, there we go, if I'm right, because boy, there's so many fucking A's, right? And Angela's the Landman one. It's gonna get hard to um finagle all of this. So we have a multi-millionaire family that lives in New York. Well, we have two versions of the story. We have Kurt Russell is visiting his brother who lives in Montana, who owns a giant ranch. Okay, so that is happening. Meanwhile, Michelle Pfeiffer's character, Stacy, is at a CEO type, Gossip Girl type event. They're, New York not New York royalty, but they're like multimillionaires. They're at a thing. The daughter, boy, this is very different from fucking Ainsley on Landman, I gotta say. This daughter is a Pod Save America vegan Zoran voter. Peak MSNBC type woman character who is 35 years old. So we're kind of getting it. It is very likes to say anti-racist things like, peak identity politics, white woman, white guilt type situation. So for those of you who are not from New York, there's a story about a year ago because the show filmed a year ago about how transplant white women influencers were getting punched in the face by some black homeless guy. Like he was just wrecking terror all over 14th Street from like First Ave to Third Avenue until they finally got him. Apparently, this is happening again right now in 2026. So the not the yeah, is it no, the Page character. The Page character gets punched in her face randomly. By the way, on Madison Avenue, somewhere near Trump Tower. So this is the part where like I understand Taylor Sheridan likes to write certain scenes to provoke the discourse. And I maybe I'll be, similar to what happened on Landman with the Ainsley and Paige character, where like we meet Paige and Paige is the most stereotypical trans, non-binary, pronoun and bio vegan character that we're instantly supposed to hate and hope like that Angela and Ainsley beat the shit out of her. And then the next episode, we see Ainsley defend her and how Pagan was really good at the job. And whatever, and everyone's, like, mad. The real stupid people are mad at Sheridan, and, like, everyone who's intelligent understands why he wrote the character that way to provoke an audience. This entire scene is going to play out the same way, and I've seen the first 2 episodes, so we leave New York well, actually, I don't wanna say why we leave New York, but she gets decked in the face, and her Tiffany bags are robbed. Then she knocks on an NYPD car, And she's like, "I was just punched in the face and I got robbed." And the cops are like, "Okay, age, height, what race was he? Was he black like me or was he white like him?" And she's like, "I don't see race, okay? I just don't see race." And she says the guy's wearing a ski mask, but it's like summertime in New York while they're shooting this show, so that's just like bullshit no matter what. So that is what happens. Then she calls her mother and she's like, "I was robbed," right? I was like, "Oh my god." And then she's like in New York the NYU Lagoon Hospital getting stitches on her face, and that's what happens. Meanwhile, Kurt Russell's character, is talking to his brother, and she's like, "You know what? People live their whole life wanting to do everything. We went to this fancy island, and you know what? Everyone there was 2 decades older than us. They finally got all the money, but their bodies didn't, like, let them have fun." And things like this. And he's like the brother character is like, "Okay, why are you trying to, I'm not impressed by all that. I just wanna, like, do stuff and whatever." And they're fishing, and then he gets the call from, Stacy, Michelle Pfeiffer, and he's like, um our daughter was mugged in New York. And then he's like, "She needs to take the car." And then she says it's gauche to use the car and she doesn't want to use her status of wealth. Well, then maybe we shouldn't use her status of wealth to pay for her fucking apartment on Madison Avenue. And so that discourse happens and he says, "I love you, goodbye." And then they get on a plane because he flies a plane. The brother flies a plane to go back to their ranch or whatever. And a storm happens. We then go to a dinner that Michelle Pfeiffer's having with her sister, Abigail, and they get a call. She gets a call from, Idaho Police Department. She's like, "There's been a plane crash. We have the phones and licenses of your husband and his brother. They're dead. We need you to come ID the body." Which, by the way, this is where like, oh shit, they killed Kurt Russell in the first 10 minutes of this episode. And I'm like, wait, but this show is billed as a Kurt Russell Stacey show. So I'm curious how they're doing it because now I don't know what's true or not on this because like I was like looking shit up online. They're like, "We filmed the second season already. Ready?" He's like, "We did this because I have to film that Godzilla Apple show." But like he's dead. So then I'm like, how are they playing this up? So it seems like in the other 2 episodes, right? We get flashbacks either of Kurt Russell just alone in Montana, because apparently he visits his brother once a year, or flashbacks of them of Stacy and Preston in New York. So if that's how Kurt Russell is, like, in the show throughout the entire series is via flashback, and he's not here present day with the family because he's dead. I thought this show was gonna be, some type of tragedy and they all live together, like, the way you're like, because they were like, "Oh, the mugging," and they were like, "We gotta get uprooted from our New York lives because they're too sheltered or whatever." So they're there, but no, Kurt Russell dead, and she's, like, in the ranch trying to take care of everything, and they got horses, and they're trying to cook, and it's very off the grid, and the older daughter character is like, "I can't do this. I don't know how to do it if there isn't clean water and blah, blah, blah," and shit like this, and Mike Ross is like an asshole. Like, or he's like a mixture of Harvey and like all the bad aspects of Harvey and Mike Ross mixed together. But hey, this one went to Harvard and has a law degree. And he's trying to help out the mother in the second episode. So now they haven't officially moved there, but they're like staying because of grief. They don't have running water. They have like outhouses, and the daughter gets stung by hornets. And then Mike Ross is trying to like kill the hornets with bug spray. Now I assume by episode 3 they're gonna Amazon a lot of stuff over. So they have some modern supplies to fix things. Who knows? I understand the whole point is they're all gonna move together and live there to like learn real values and shit like this. This show is so much better than any of the Yellowstone seasons. And I mean that legitimately, and I've seen all of Yellowstone. Now I haven't seen the Marshall, which is the Yellowstone, the real Yellowstone spinoff. This was conceived as the Yellowstone spinoff as well. So, but this seems to be probably more likely because this is the Paramount Plus show, right? Marshall is on CBS. Very weird how they're jumbling around everything, but I would not be shocked if we do get a Landman Madison crossover. which would be fucking fantastic. Like, a flashback that Tommy and Preston met. Because you know what Taylor Sheridan loves is his leading actor to be over 70 and look like they're in their 50s. And then maybe they have a father character that is alive, that is played by an actor that is only 10 years older than the main actor, as we see in Landman. But I gotta say, this show is very white. And I don't mean that like derogatory, but like when you compare it to Landman, right, which has your hot Mexican character, right? And the new stripper and Boss, right? Where it seems like fairly kind of diverse, but naturally, right? This show is like it's just a family, right? It's just about a family. And Will Arnett is a fucking therapist in this show. She like goes to therapy and shit. Watch this show. I think it's great. I can't wait for the other 4 episodes. The discourse around the white ultra liberal woman character, um, God, Paige. It's gonna take forever to know their names because I only know that like I'm just gonna constantly call Kurt Russell, Michelle Pfeiffer, them, and fucking Mike Ross, Mike Ross. But that is how this works. And that is what, like, we're doing on this show. I'm kind of interesting, like, if like, I get he's dead. That Kurt it's not like, "Oh, we're gonna give a fake of maybe, like, Kurt Russell, like, he skipped the plane crash," but no, he's dead. So, wow, I was hoping, like, a Kurt Russell, like, family dynamic show, but he's just dead, so, okay. Yay?